The 2024 U.S. presidential election will be a pivotal moment for U.S. China relations. Trump and Harris represent starkly different approaches to trade with China. The election will determine if the U.S. continues economic decoupling or strategic competition. The debate centers on protecting American economic interests and security. Trump's agenda sees China as a threat, advocating for reduced interdependence. Harris may continue Biden's approach, balancing competition with cooperation. The U.S. and China are the world's largest economies, impacting global trade and security. The future of U.S.-China trade relations lies in the hands of American voters. A second Trump administration would likely signify a return to aggressive trade policies and a push for further economic decoupling from China. Trump has repeatedly accused China of unfair trade practices and intellectual property theft. He views China's economic rise as a threat to American prosperity and global dominance. Experts predict that Trump would likely escalate the trade war he initiated in his first term.
Trump's view of China is fundamentally adversarial, says Dr. Elizabeth Economy, Director for Asia Studies at the Council on Foreign Relations. He sees the relationship as a zero-sum game.
This view could translate into a range of protectionist measures, including increased tariffs on Chinese goods, stricter investment restrictions, and efforts to limit Chinese companies' access to U.S. technology. The consequences of such an approach could be significant. While tariffs might offer some protection to certain American industries, they would also likely lead to higher prices for consumers and businesses. Moreover, decoupling from the world's second-largest economy could disrupt global supply chains and harm economic growth in both countries. The Biden administration's approach focuses on strategic competition with China. It acknowledges challenges but also seeks cooperation on global issues like climate change. Harris is expected to prioritize technology competition, protecting American intellectual property.
The Biden administration has strengthened export controls and restricted Chinese investment. A Harris administration would likely build on these efforts.
This includes increased investment in research and development, collaboration with allies on technology standards, and attracting top talent in STEM fields. The goal is to outcompete China while managing tensions to avoid conflict. Section 4. Tariff Wars and Tech Races, Comparing the Economic Impacts.
Trump's tariff wars have imposed significant costs on American businesses and consumers.
Some argue tariffs protect American jobs, while others say they harm the U.S. economy.
Biden has maintained many tariffs but emphasizes working with allies to address China's trade practices.
The administration focuses on boosting competitiveness through infrastructure, clean energy, and R&D investments.
The CHIPS and Science Act funds semiconductor research and manufacturing, reducing reliance on China.
Experts are divided on the long-term impact of these approaches, with some favoring confrontation and others cooperation. Section 5. Beyond Economics, Diplomacy, and the Future of Global Trade.
The contrasting approaches of Trump and Harris extend beyond economics to encompass diplomacy and global trade dynamics. Trump's America First agenda often alienated traditional U.S. allies, creating friction in international efforts to address shared challenges.
His withdrawal from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, a trade agreement intended to counter China's economic influence, was widely criticized.
In contrast, the Biden administration has emphasized the importance of multilateralism and rebuilding relationships with allies. The administration has rejoined the Paris Agreement on climate change and has sought to strengthen ties with NATO and other international organizations.
A Harris administration would likely continue this focus on diplomacy and multilateralism. The goal would be to build a united front with allies to address China's growing assertiveness in the Indo-Pacific region and beyond.
This approach recognizes that effectively managing the U.S.-China relationship requires more than just economic leverage. It also demands diplomatic skill and strategic partnerships.
Section 6. Charting the Course, Uncertainty and the Stakes for the World. The future of U.S.-China trade relations remains uncertain. The 2024 presidential election will be a critical juncture, determining whether the U.S. continues on a path of confrontation and decoupling or pursues a more nuanced strategy of strategic competition and selective engagement. The stakes are high, not just for the U.S. and China, but for the entire global economy. A trade war between the world's two largest economies would have significant ripple effects. disrupting supply chains, slowing economic growth, and potentially leading to geopolitical instability. The choice facing American voters is complex. There are no easy answers or guaranteed outcomes. What is clear is that the next 4 years will be crucial in shaping the future of U.S.-China relations and, by extension, the global economic landscape.